Jam-filled and drizzled with a sugary glaze, lip-smacking treats called Kolaches are a bakery classic in Eastern Europe. Though in the mid-1800s, they were brought by Czech immigrants to Texas, where they still remain very popular today. In a small bowl, stir together 1 package of active dry yeast and 1/4 cup of sour cream. And just mix this up together, and in about 10 minutes, it will be ready to use. Just let that rest. And then in another bowl, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/4 cup of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of coarse salt. Mix those together, and we're going to cut the butter, 2 sticks, 1/2 pound of unsalted butter cut into little 1/4-inch squares. I cut that right into the dry ingredients. This is very, very similar to making a pastry for a pie, a pâte brisée. Now this is icy cold because you want it to cut nicely without softening too much into your dry ingredients. I just stir this around. And this is the old-fashioned way of making pâte brisée, either rubbing the fat and flour with your fingertips or using one of these little contraptions. I love these. This is really used for egg salad or pastry making. And just cut the butter into the flour and sugar mixture. Now, if I waited a little bit longer, I would put this in the refrigerator to stay chilled. But this is what the yeast mixture looks like when the yeast is appropriately softened. So add 2 eggs to your yeast mixture. And break those up and just stir them around. You can see that this does get very nice and smooth. Done. Now get this right into your dry ingredients and stir it around. You can turn this dough right out onto a piece of plastic wrap, form into a rectangle, and chill for at least 30 minutes, preferably longer. And I'll show you how to form the cookies. So on a lightly floured surface, roll your dough out to 1/4 inch thick. And I would suggest flouring the top of the dough as well as the bench itself. You want to cut 3-inch squares, and you can use a cookie cutter to do this. So the closer you roll the dough to multiples of 3 inches, the easier and less waste you'll have. And the first rolling and first cutting is always best for cutout cookies. You know that. And cut. See how easy it cuts? So beautiful. Perfect. With a little left over to spare. So just remove your excess dough and move the squares right to parchment-covered baking sheet. Let me show you how to form the cookies. So in the center of each cookie, 1 level teaspoon of your favorite filling. This is homemade peach jam, which is a pretty color. It has real fruit in it. And it's good to use a measuring spoon like this because you don't want to put too much jam on the cookie. It will tend to leak out. So now you need to only egg wash 1 corner. This is the glue that holds the cookie together. Use a soft brush and a slightly beaten egg. And then you fold this corner up and this corner over, just like that. This corner up and this corner down. What a pretty cookie. And wait till you see how it looks when it comes out of the oven. You see, they're not terribly difficult, but they are very impressive. So I'm going to get these into the oven, bake until the edges are golden, 12 to 15 minutes. So this is what the cookies look like when they come out of the oven. These have cooled, and now to gild the lily, as they say, just about 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, 2 to 3 tablespoons of whole milk. We're making a little drizzle. And 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Why butter? Well, it just enriches the glaze. You could also use heavy cream and the sugar. And whisk until all the lumps are out. And you see it gets a little bit thicker. And now just drizzle as much or as little as you like across each cookie. I'm doing it right on the parchment on which the cookies were baked, so I'm not making any big mess. Let the glaze harden, or set as they say, and then you can put them on a serving platter and watch them disappear. No matter what you choose to fill your kolaches with, you'll understand why they're as popular here as they are in Eastern Europe.